Oklahoma City, Southeast Village Crip. Ladies and gentlemen, making a return, my boy Sendog. What years were you most active?
Since 89 till 2003, bro. So I was going hard for at least 20 years. Really, but I had my first son and everything like that, so I had to be a grown man, you know. Put childish things away when you gotta raise somebody. For real.
What years would you say that Oklahoma City, just in general, was just most active?
Man, I'm talking about from 91 until like 2010. It was cracking down for everybody. I'm talking about most of the rap stars that got their chains snatched out, beat up, choked out. We had Ray J and all them down there. My cousin choked out Ray J and took his chain. So, nah, you better come down here with some respect on it. You hear me?
Southeast Village Crip, you guys are a homegrown hood. You guys are not an LA-based hood, right?
Yeah, we started our own set, but we just took the Crip from California.
Right,
but as far as us, nah, it's my set. You feel me? We ain't gotta go pay homage to nobody. You feel me?
Last time you mentioned a few LA hoods that are in OKC. You mentioned Shotgun, you mentioned Hoover, you mentioned Inglewood
Yeah, I'm talking about, we got 6-0, 40s, 90s, 107 Hoover, 5 Deuce Hoover, Shotgun, 1 Trey Deuce, 1 Trey 9. I'm talking about, then with the blood gangs, we got IFG, Finesse Gangsters, pretty much everybody that came down here and put their, foot down.
Who would you say out of all of those that you mentioned has the biggest presence in OKC?
I ain't gonna even lie to you. Neighborhood and 107 is deep everywhere.
Okay.
I've been to like 8 different states and everybody got NAC and 107 in their mouth.
Who's SCV's biggest enemy, would you say?
Back when we was like, on that gang type ass shit, really, we was caught in the middle is because when we first started, we had love for NAC 60. Feel me? Them niggas who turned us on. You feel me? A couple of people got into it type ass shit, and then we ended up love with 107 and Shotgun Crip.
Yeah, last time you mentioned GBC, you mentioned Southside Locals.
GBC is right around the corner from us. You feel me? So, that's the Mexican gang that we fuck with, period. You feel me? But I'm talking about we got Southside Locals, I'm talking about, the essays, they on some gangster shit too, though. I'm talking about, oh, God.
Okay.
I'm talking about, they ain't no strangers down here. Yeah, they put it down. You hear me? Oh, we got MS 13, all of them. For real. Latin Kings, Disciples, everybody.
Okay.
Because I was putting the Disciples up on their game because I told them straight up, nigga, y'all set done split it up into like 6 different sets. Feel me? I was at Ida B. Wells and Nicholson Gordon. I mean, all out there in the legendary set. Them niggas was wearing they shit to the left like they was Crips. And they rock to the right. Feel me? But they was doing that just so they could, try to get at everybody. You feel me? But, what I'm saying? This Gangsta Disciple, they under Larry Hoover. He got his own squad. Then you got David Boxtel. He got his own squad. That's the BD. Then you got the New Breeds. And, nigga, they said it's like fucked off, for real. And that's why I was telling them, I was like, man, y'all got like 6 different hoods, homie. So which one you bang? You feel me? They say 7/4 growth and development, but everybody ain't from growth and development. Feel me? For real. All this shit is in Oklahoma City right now. Everything that I spoke up on, these cats is down here, and they ride for they turf. For real.
Wow. That must have
I'm,
been a shock to white Oklahoma City back in like the late '80s, early '90s when gangs
yeah,
really started
nah,
getting crack.
I'm talking about OG. Nigga, that's just like you see on TV. They want you, they gonna allow you to see what you want to see. But when you
Hmm.
come down here, no, homie, it's cracking. You hear me? It's cracking for real. These white folks just want y'all to see, oh, we got the thunder down here, we got this, all coming suitors and all that. Shit, this motherfucker is dangerous. I'm talking about just like up there with y'all, homie. All I see is murders on the news down here.
Yeah, yeah. LA has calmed down a lot. Like compared to the '90s, man, we were having like upwards of almost 2,000
Man,
murders.
what is you talking about? I was up there in '93.
Uh,
My cousins, they OGs from 6Os, South Central. So when I was up there, on God, they was just telling me don't go certain places. It was like, nah, you go over there. We tripping with them. Feel me? So I'm just like, damn, it seemed like y'all got it set on every corner down here in this motherfucker.
yeah,
And I
man.
wasn't used to that. You hear me? Because I was used to like, you gotta travel to the northeast side or the southeast side, or if we gang hanging on somebody, but they not like right there around the corner though. You feel me?
Yeah. And the crazy part is a lot of them grow up going to school together, going to elementary, middle school because they lived in such
Man,
close proximity.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was just like, man, y'all this close. I know y'all know all of these niggas. You feel me? I'm talking about personally. I know y'all know them personally because it's only 2 or 3 blocks away.
Yeah, family, probably family. A lot of them are cousins and relatives of each other, but they're all different sets just because they live 2 blocks over.
Yeah, real shit. And then when big homie say get down, homie, you gotta get down. Real shit.
Yeah. You mentioned 6 O's earlier, Nipsey Hussle, but I want to ask you, how do you think something like that could have been avoided?
Just keeping it real, man. I'm just keeping it 100. When you touch bread like that, bro, I'm talking about, yeah, you come back and bless the set, but you're not a part of this no more. You're in a different bracket now. You feel me? I'm talking about once you get that bread like that, you're in a different bracket, bro. The streets, that's over with. You feel me? So he
Yeah.
didn't need to be on the streets, period, because he was already a major figure in life. You feel me? I'm talking
Hmm.
about if Nipsey was still here right now, cuz it'd be bigger than Snoop, because everybody loved and respected this gangster. Because I keep on watching this video where the people that took pictures from me was like, nah, bitch, I'm a crip. What the fuck you? Yeah, real sick. Quit playing with me. You feel me? I was like, nah, cuz, no, he shouldn't have been in the streets no more once you touch that kind of bread. You feel me? You
Yeah.
touch that kind of bread, man. Yeah, it's all right to go bless the set and all that shit, but at the same time, you don't be nowhere around, bro. It's over with. Feel me?
Hmm.
You're in a different bracket now, cause anybody who not ever had any animosity towards you, nigga, is looking to get some fame off of you, bro. For real. We
Yeah.
call the shit down here sneak this. Feel me? Yeah, nigga sneak this Missy up the man and took his life. He was on the uprise. On God. He was on the
Yeah.
uprise. People still inboxing me talking about how they done went down there and bought clothes and shit. Feel me? The marathon always continues.
Hey, I just something just popped up in my head, but this is Tulsa. But Black Wall Street was down there, wasn't it?
Tulsa was finna be big like fucking New York type shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
shut that
And
shit down,
burned down.
bro. They shut that shit down.
Hmm.
They the first ones who even started Wall Street type shit.
Hmm.
To where man, they had over 25 black businesses down there. So everybody was buying black owned everything. Man, these racist white people went down there, man, destroyed that whole town and killed damn near everybody.
And this was 100 years ago. This wasn't like 30, 40, 50. This
Yeah,
was
I'm
100
talking
years
about
ago.
like 1923 type shit.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about black people in Tulsa was on their business, bro, to where like shit they had it. They ran the whole town. It was black owned. They went and shut that shit down, bro. That's
Yeah.
that's why I say you know, they did us just like they did the Black Panthers, bro. The Black Panthers was not gang members. They was about helping the people, real shit. Because
Oh, yeah.
back then, in them days, they was giving us government cheese and shit. Fuck that shit. We trying to eat just like y'all is.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, dude. The government they stopped the Black Panthers because they were positive influence to blacks in the city, but they let gang banging flourish. If they wanted gang banging to stop, they could have stopped gang banging 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But they said,
Man.
fuck it. They're doing our job. They're killing each other. So let them keep doing it.
Yeah. People watch shit and just be entertained, right? But actually, these directors is telling you some real inside messages. You hear me? I'm
Hmm.
talking about. Look at it. The Black Panther movie. You feel me?
Hmm.
On God, nigga. The police officer told dude, "Well, ain't this your neighborhood? If it was my neighborhood, I'd hold it down." That's where that shit came from.
Hmm.
For real. Feel me? That's where that shit
Yeah.
came from. You gotta look for all the inside messages. These directors is really telling you. So we're like, they really started all of this shit.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's
oh,
deep.
now these niggas gang banging. We really ain't got a role in they hood no more because they gonna kill each other. Real shit.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's what the
And we and
world
we
is.
and we did a great job at it in the past 40 years. Great fucking job. They're clapping. They're happy. Man, do you think a lot of gangsters suffer from PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder?
Hell yeah. Everybody got that shit that's ever grew up in any gang environment. Come on, man. Everybody done grew up in single parents' homes, man.
Yeah.
So when you
Had to
ain't
be.
got that
Yeah.
mother figure or that father figure, you know what I'm saying? And just like I told, I was like, cause I actually grew up good. I had my mother and my daddy living in the same house. Shit, it's
Mm-hmm.
just my brother started this crippin' shit.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? For real. But I'm just, I know where all that shit leads to those because all my homies I grew up with, they ain't never had no mother or father at home.
Yeah.
Nigga, they either got their mother or nigga, they got their daddy. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't never had both parent figures at home. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was telling the difference between blacks and white. White people actually raise their kids. I'm talking about now you put that on a regular black child that all he have is a mother. And he going through all this shit that's America gotta give to you. You feel me? Cause
Yeah.
yeah, America is cold to the motherfucker. For real. I'm talking about to blacks anyway. Feel me? And he gotta go through that shit and he ain't got no male figure. Oh yeah. He gonna grow up to be a fucking killer. The hell you mean? Cause all he ever seen was disrespect at his life.
That's why it's so important for dads to stay around, man. Something like 7 out of 10 black fathers are not present in the home, and that has a big influence on everything that happens in our community. Everything.
Man, I told my nephew, because you know what I'm saying, my sister, you know, most of my family passed away from natural causes, so I ain't tripping. You feel me? Ain't nobody killed my peoples. But I got my nephew with me, and I just try to show him, I'm your father figure, I'm your mother figure. So take it how you want to. I'm gonna teach you right. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I be showing them everything that I'm speaking to you, OG. I show them that shit. You feel me? Like, look, all he got is his mama. That's it. For real.
Yeah.
So hell yeah, he coming outside with attitude. Feel me?
Mhm.
He ain't got no father figure. He ain't got nobody around him that's, you know, just gonna show him the ropes at a life. What I'm saying is, bro, OG, everybody been listening to our thing was just like, man, I know you was deep like that. I was like, man, I be trying to teach everybody, but if you don't want to learn, bro, I ain't gonna waste my breath. Feel me?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because I'm gonna point you in the right direction. It's all on you to take that direction.
These young kids out there, they're lost. Their OG is like 2 years older than them. You know, you got a 17-year-old and his OG is 19.
If I see you going down the wrong road, I'm gonna try to give you this advice that I soaked up from living. It's called
Hmm.
experience. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, take it from a person who already got experience. Feel me?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
that's my whole message to everybody. Take it from a person who already got experience. For real. If I could try to help, I'm gonna do my best just to, speaking into your mind. Hopefully you hear me. You hear me?
Mhm. Yeah.
Hopefully you hear me. You know what I'm saying? I can't make nobody listen, but hopefully you hear me. I ain't on here speaking up on my gang like that, man. I'm on here trying to drop some knowledge, man, 'cause the world needs to hear this shit. I'm talking about 'cause man, we losing our babies for real. If the streets ain't killing them, these polices is for real.
Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. As an active member, what was the hardest time period for you? When was shit just like super active? All right, I got to watch my back everywhere. I can't even sleep at night. When did it begin to, just really, when was shit crazy for you?
1996 and 1997, when that gang that I used to belong to was in the heat of a race war with a rival Hispanic gang just north of the housing project. It got deadly. It got dangerous. It was no more fun. All the fun about gangbanging suddenly vanished. Now it got real.
You said the thing with the Mexican gang started heating up. How did that differ from, okay, I'm fighting I'm fighting another Crip or another Blood. Now I'm fighting a different gang, a different nationality, I should say.
So the history of that housing project is that traditionally they got along with all of the gangs around it. To the north, there was a Hispanic gang they got along with. To the west, there was another Blood gang they got along with. To the south, there was another Hispanic gang they got along with. And to the east was another city that didn't have any gangs in it, which is the city of Vernon, which is basically a commercial district, right? So traditionally, there wasn't a lot of gang warfare in that community, not for that project. That project was an open air drug market that all of those gangs could come to, and it was a place where a lot of families that migrated to South Central LA at one point lived in that project and moved away into other neighborhoods. Those kids became gang members in those other neighborhoods, but they would always come back where they had relatives. So you had people from other places, from other gangs, coming into that project without any problem. You know what I mean? So it really wasn't that real bad vibe. There was still shootings and different things that took place over the years, little scuffles and beats and battles. But this right here was an all-out warfare when it started. And when you're talking about Hispanic gangs have a different way of gang culture, and Hispanic gangs is different. They go about it a whole different way. A lot more dangerous, a lot more activity in that, And so that housing project had to really either step up or step off. And it brought out the worst in our community. And it became one of the bloodiest gang wars in the history of South Los Angeles.
Before we continue with your life, side note, what would you like to say to the guys out there who are still killing each other, you know, specifically the blacks and Latinos, who I wish if we came together, there would be nothing more powerful than that no force, you know, could destroy us. But, you know, what would you like to say to the blacks and Latino community out there who are still out there warring?
Think about how much more we could do if we put the guns down. Think about how much more we can do for ourselves and for each other. You know, what is it for? What is it really for? What is it really about? I talk to youngsters all the time that's caught up in that in the wars, right? And most of them can't really pinpoint what it started about or when it started. It is what it is. This is the craziest thing ever, you know? So I have to really like caution and say, man, you got to stop and think for yourself for a minute. Why am I going to sit out here and do something that's not productive? And not only is it not productive, but it's a sure ticket to the penitentiary or the graveyard. Are we just suicidal like that where we just don't give a damn? Like, my life ain't worth living. I don't care. This is what it is. We got to get a wake-up call, man, and really figure this out, you know, because the only people that's really benefiting from it is the morgues, the cemetery, you know, the people that's selling us the guns, you know, the people that's providing ammunition, you know, they're benefiting from it monetarily, you know. So you got to really think about that. How am I going to let somebody benefit off my misery? It makes absolutely no sense. And this is the reason why I come on this show and tell my story, so that maybe one day you will sit back and reflect on it and say, you know what? I'm done, man. I'm out. This ain't making no sense.
Let's continue with your story. Let's talk about the first time you got locked up as an active gang member. What was that experience like?
I was 14 years old, went to juvenile hall in San Bernardino, caught a robbery, ended up in juvie out there, and I didn't understand gangs out there in the San Bernardino County, right? And some of those places in San Bernardino, the city itself, it's about your hood. So they'll have a hood, and half of the guys would be Crips, and the other half would be Bloods in this particular little neighborhood, but they get along with each other because they from the same hood. I didn't understand that. I thought that was the strangest thing ever. The way I thought about it was like, I couldn't imagine half of the project I was from was Crips and the other half was Bloods, and we got along and we beefed with other neighborhoods. So when I encountered these guys, they became my enemy for the little short period of time that I was in juvenile hall. I went hard on them, and they couldn't understand it because they were Bloods too. So they saying, why you tripping? I'm saying, I'm tripping because y'all pieced up, y'all doing this thing over here. Y'all in a gang with the enemy. I ain't with that. You know what I mean? And it was really hypocritical of me because at the same time in Los Angeles, the ceasefire was still going. You know? But that was just me being ignorant, young, running amok, causing trouble.
Yeah.
I get convicted for a robbery in San Bernardino Juvenile Hall. I was the only juvenile amongst a group of adults, young adults, and everybody got off except me and one other guy. And when I get back home, my mom really got down on me, man. She really ripped into me. You know, this was the first time she had to go to a trial. This was going to be my first trial that she had to attend. And man, she was hot. She was hot. Having to take off work, drive all the way out to San Bernardino, and sit in court for this. So shortly after that, we end up moving from what's considered IE, the Inland Empire, where we were living at that time. We ended up moving to Altadena with her husband. She was newly married. We ended up moving out there, and this was the beginning of high school for me. This was my 9th grade year, and I was in a new city. I'm sitting right on the border of Pasadena and Altadena, living on Mountain View in Fair Oaks. And, you know, really didn't know the geography, the lay of the land. I didn't really understand that I was living in a Crip city, like really a Crip city. That whole city of Altadena is a Crip city. And it was about to get real for me. You know, it's really a town, you know, and it has a town and country kind of feel. You have streets up in Altadena that don't have a sidewalk. It's not unusual to see people that own horses, walking their horses and things of that nature. So it kind of fooled you. But if you turn left here and a right there, you'll run right smack dab into Gang Central. You know what I mean? A corner where you can lose your life. And so I was about to get introduced to that.
Okay. What were some of the problems you had to deal with living in a Crip city? And what were some of the Crip sets in Altadena?
Well, for the most part, there was one Crip set, the Altadena Block Crips. And they're a large gang, a very serious and menacing gang, nothing to play with. And my first task was going to be getting to school and getting home safely without getting killed. I had to catch the bus to school on Altadena Drive in Fair Oaks. This required me to walk up and down Fair Oaks, a stretch of Fair Oaks where they hung out on Harriet. My first time walking up Fair Oaks to catch the bus, it was early in the morning and they weren't out. I had on a red t-shirt, some black khakis, and some black chucks. I know I'm going to a blood school, Pasadena High School. I'm feeling good about that. That day,
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And got off the bus on Altadena Drive in Fair Oaks and had to make that walk all the way back down to Mountain View. And I had to pass Harriet again. This time it's after school and they're out. They're out, like hella out. And I'm looking like, oh my God. I don't know which way to turn, left or right, because I've only been living up here for a few weeks. By the grace and mercy of God, man, I made home safely without anybody really saying too much to me or really even noticing me as I walked right past these dudes hanging out at their liquor store and their car wash and their hamburger stand. And I knew at that moment that I was going to have trouble. So I had to find another route to school. That was going to be my first task, how to get to and from a place that's supposed to be a refuge for children, school. I had to figure out how to get to and from without getting killed.
Mm. What was the typical gear for a gangster such as yourself back in the day? What were you rocking before you walked out of the house? You mentioned Chucks. You mentioned what else? What year are we talking, first of all?
We're talking 1993.
Okay, so that's when gangsters dress like gangsters. Nowadays, you don't know if you're standing next to a gangster because he could be wearing skinny jeans and, a rain jacket or something. But back then, gangsters dressed like gangsters, right?
Man, back then, you knew a gang member. You know, gangsters dressed like gangsters and squares dressed like squares. Now, everybody, you can't really tell. You wasn't going to see a Crip wearing all red or a Blood wearing all blue. You know what I mean? Chuck Taylors, Cortez, Nike Cortez. Later on, Jordans and whatnot came in fashion for gang members. But khakis, t-shirts, sweatshirts, Pendletons, baseball caps. You could see a gang member from a mile away. No doubt in my mind, he's from somewhere. So my dress code revealed my identity.
What kind of student were you back then while you were, still active out in the streets? Were you a good student, bad student? Was it hard to focus?
When I was in elementary school, I was an A student. By the time I got to middle school, I became a B student. When I got to ninth grade, I became a C student. By the time I made it to the 12th, I was an F. Yeah, it was a steady decline, even though I went to reasonably good schools, good public schools. So I started off at Victory Baptist Day School from kindergarten through 5th grade in L.A. over on 48th and McKinley. Right, really good private school in the heart of South Central, a really small Baptist church-oriented school. From there, I got introduced to public school and started going to PAMlLY, a Crip school, believe it or not, in elementary, elementary Crip school. Right? I stayed at PAMlLY for a few months, about 6 months, and then we moved out towards Ontario. I got out there, I went to Grace Oakley, a really good public school out in the suburbs. Stayed there for about a year and a half or so. Then we moved again to another part of Ontario where I ended up checking into Rancho Cucamonga Middle School, another really good public school. From Rancho, I moved again, and that's when I got to high school and checked into Pasadena High School. I was in and out of juvenile camps in juvenile hall, so my studies were split between going to public school and going to probationary school, home studies. Right? In high school, I ended up going to Wilson High School in Long Beach for a little while. After I left Altadena, I went with my father. Didn't last at Wilson but a couple of months, another Crip-dominated school. I ended up going back to Pasadena again after I got out of camp. Didn't last there long. Ended up going back to camp. The last high school I went to was Bryan High School out in Bryan, Texas, another really good public school. I went to really, really good public schools that had a really, really bad gang problem.
Yeah.
And that's the story of California.
Okay. And how did you get to Bryan, Texas?
Man, I ended up going to camp a couple of times, and the last time I got out of camp, I was having trouble at Pasadena High School, and I just stopped going to school altogether. And so I ended up, they were going to send me back to camp for a third camp program, and I negotiated a deal with the judge to allow me to go to Bryan, Texas with my grandfather and finish high school out there, finish the 12th grade out there, so that I could discharge probation. And he agreed, my mom agreed, my grandfather agreed to receive me, and the next day I was on a plane out to Bryan, Texas.
Was that your first time ever leaving
2 minutes.
the hood? Okay, cool. 2 minutes. Sorry. Was that your first time leaving the hood?
No. I had been out the hood. I had been to Bryan before.
Okay.
To see my grandfather, made friends down there. So I had been out of the hood. Like I said, I lived in other parts of Southern California, the IE, Pasadena, Altadena area. So I've spent more time living outside of the projects than I have actually living in the project.